I don't know what I was even really thinking about when I first got on campus. A part of me was, saying you're going to college to get your degree. You're going to college for academics. Another part of me was saying you're going to college to play basketball because, you had the opportunity to get a scholarship and you didn't. It kind of fizzled away and you had to pay now for your tuition, and this is an opportunity for you, to take advantage of that and not let, having to pay for tuition out of your pocket get away from you. So that's why you're down here. You're not down here to necessarily play basketball or to do anything else, but you're down here to get an education. But I don't really think I even thought about that. I was so kind of caught up in my own devices, i.e. getting away from my house and the turbulence that continued to happen, getting away from Philadelphia, calling myself getting a new start, trying to find out who I was as a young man developing into an older man. It was just a lot of stuff going on inside of me. To some degree, feeling proud that I was the first one in my family to be able to go to college, to be proud that I was one of the first out of a lot of folks in my extended family to go to college. Feeling good about that, and just kind of looking into the future, but not all the way. I had talked to my friends that had went to college before me, and they talked about the parties and the girls and the good time they had, and I was just kind of looking forward to that. I didn't even really understand the significance of going to an HBCU. I just knew that I went to a black college, and from all I heard about going to a black college, it was party, 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 have a good time, chase girls, and that's what it was about. And that was sort of an extension of what I did in Philadelphia, only without the supervision of my parents. I was on my own, so I could get up when I wanted to, I could go to bed when I wanted to. I didn't have to sneak around and smoke any weed. I didn't have to sneak around and, figure out where I was going to do my thing with the girls that I hooked up with. It was just a bunch of freedom. And that's what I was looking forward to. So as time moves on, I eventually start going to class. And going to class in college is a lot different than going to class in high school. Either you go or you don't. There was no such thing as cutting class. It depends on what professor you had that would dictate how your grade was going to turn out. Some professors didn't give a damn whether you came to class or not, because you was paying for it anyway. Some professors demanded that if you missed a certain amount of days, it was going to have an effect on your grade. So you had to figure out what professors did what. But one thing I did know, most of my professors were black, most of my professors were serious, and most of my professors was preaching the word of education. They didn't tolerate no nonsense when you came to class. When you went to certain classes, those professors were there to teach you and help you get your degree. And they made that a point to you almost on a daily basis. So most of the classes that I had predicated themselves on your attendance. You can miss a whole lot of classes if you want to. You are going to suffer when your grades came during midterm and your final grade for that semester. So I clearly understood that. And because academics were really never an issue for me, I went to class in my freshman year, in that first semester, on a consistent basis. Finally got my dining hall card, my ID with my picture, and I was able to go back and forth to the dining hall. The dining hall was right across the yard from my dorm, right next to Murphy Hall. And because I didn't have any friends on campus yet, I would often eat in the dining hall by myself. My roommate went home every weekend because it was just a hop, skip, and a jump for him to get from Princess Anne to Cambridge, Maryland. So I basically had a single every weekend, and that's a dream for a freshman, to have a single and not have a roommate. Most of the freshmen that were on campus had roommates, and that was a dream for me not to have a roommate. So as time went on, a couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks, almost a month, I met these two guys in the same dorm from DC. One guy's name was CC, the other guy's name was, they called him Dog. And CC and Dog's real name was Edward. And later found out that it was Edward Comerford, who later became my fraternity brother a couple of years down the line. But when I first met Dog, I only knew him as Dog. And they became my buddies. And I would introduce them to my habit of smoking weed. And they would say, "Man, you always got some weed." So they would come down to my room, and we would sit in the room and get blasted. Or I'd go down to their room, and we get blasted. We smoke weed almost on a daily basis. Me, CC, and Dog. They was my get high buddies. And so we would get high after class and get the munchies and go to the dining hall. But I never ate in the dining hall with CC and Dog. They always kind of went their separate ways after they smoked weed. Come to find out, they'd probably take advantage of me because they just wanted to smoke my weed and go out and do their own thing. But I never gave them no weed. I just got high with them. And so one day I'm sitting in the cafeteria and I'm eating by myself, and this young lady comes over to me and says, "You from Philly?" And I go, "Yeah." "Why?" "See, that girl over there says she want to meet you." And I said, "Well, how come she ain't over here saying she want to meet me?" "She's shy." I said, "Well, if she want to meet me, she got to come over here and meet me herself." So she goes back over to the girl. The girl comes back over to me and says, "Hey, you from Philly?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I'm from Philly too." I said, "Cool." She said, "You mind if I sit down with you?" I said, "No, go ahead, sit down. We can chill." So she sits down, and we start to talk. And I find out she's from Philly. She's from West Philly. And it was like a breath of fresh air to finally meet somebody from Philadelphia, my hometown. And we start kicking it about the different things about Philly. The only difference between me and her was she was an upperclassman and I was a freshman. And down on my campus, they had this unknown rule or unspoken rule that upperclassmen did not fool around with freshmen. Freshmen were to stay in their place. Freshmen were to be freshmen, and upperclassmen were upperclassmen. I found out that she lived in the co-ed dorm, which was on the other side of the gym, the Tall's gym, and the co-ed dorm was pretty much a brand new dorm on campus that housed all juniors and seniors, upperclassmen. Freshmen were not allowed on that side of the campus, and if you got caught on that side of the campus, then your ass was in trouble. So, I found out that I pretty much couldn't go on that side of things. But this young lady that I met was had a pretty dynamic personality, you know, and I found out that she was pretty spicy, and we started having dinners in the cafe in the evenings. And so one day we were in the cafe, the lunchroom, having our dinner and eating, and all of a sudden a food fight breaks out in the cafeteria.